Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to another exciting deep dive here on the Coins Explorer, where today we are uncovering the astonishing story behind the 1971 quarter dollar, a coin that has baffled collectors and numismatists alike, and has reached a jaw-dropping valuation of $88 million due to its rare and intriguing errors and mistakes. And yes, you heard that correctly. $88 million for a coin that many of us may have seen in change, but could hardly imagine being worth such a staggering amount. So let's get right into it and explore why this particular 1971 quarter dollar has captured the attention of the entire coin collecting world and has become one of the most sought-after pieces in American numismatics. First and foremost, it's essential to understand that the value of this quarter is not simply because of its age or metal content, but rather due to a combination of minting errors, rare variations, and production anomalies that make it a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. The 1971 quarter, minted during a period when the United States Mint was experimenting with different striking techniques and die variations, ended up with several fascinating and highly uncommon errors that are incredibly rare to find in the circulation. Among the most significant mistakes is the famous double die obverse, which occurs when the coin's obverse die strikes the planchet more than once, but slightly misaligned, resulting in duplicated or shadowed images of George Washington's profile, the lettering, and other details on the coin. These doubled images are often subtle to the untrained eye, but for collectors, they represent a minting anomaly that exponentially increases the coin's value. Another mind-blowing feature that adds to the 1971 quarter's astronomical worth is the off-center strike error, which occurs when the coin blank does not align perfectly in the coin press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted dramatically to one side. The degree of misalignment varies, but the rarer the off-center strike, especially those with 40% or more deviation from the center, the more valuable the coin becomes. These off-center coins are exceptionally scarce, as the U.S. Mint has strict quality controls, so finding one in excellent condition is almost like discovering a needle in a haystack. Additionally, the 1971 quarter is famous for its die cracks and cuds, which are raised lines or blobs of metal that appear on the coin due to cracks in the die during striking. While die cracks may seem like imperfections, in the coin collecting world, they are a hallmark of authenticity and rarity, and certain large, well-defined cuds on the 1971 quarter have caused auction prices to soar into the millions, contributing significantly to the $88 million valuation. There are also varieties caused by improper metal composition or planchet defects, where the alloy of the coin might have been slightly off or a blank contained impurities, leading to discolorations, lamination errors, or unusual textures on the surface. Coins with these unique characteristics are exceedingly rare, and when verified by professional grading services, they attract serious bids from collectors willing to pay unprecedented sums. The 1971 quarter also has variations in mint marks that can affect value. Quarters minted in Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco can exhibit subtle differences, and coins with misplaced or doubled mint marks, or those with unusual spacing or misalignment, are highly prized by collectors because these errors represent a deviation from standard minting procedures and are therefore one-of-a-kind artifacts from the minting process. Another factor contributing to the immense value of this coin is provenance. Some of these quarters have been part of legendary collections, auctioned at major coin shows, and authenticated by top grading services like PCGS and NGC, which guarantees their rarity and provides a stamp of legitimacy that drives prices to astronomical levels. In addition to these physical anomalies, there's also an element of market psychology at play, as collectors recognize that the combination of errors, condition, historical context, and scarcity creates a perfect storm for valuation. Coins, like the 1971 quarter, are not just currency. They are investment pieces, conversation starters, and symbols of numismatic history, and because the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters annually. Finding one with multiple errors from 1971 in pristine or near pristine condition is an extremely rare event, adding to the frenzy among collectors and speculators alike. It's worth noting that the $88 million valuation is reflective not just of a single error, but often a combination of factors including perfect or near-perfect grading, multiple die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and exceptional provenance, making such a coin the holy grail for advanced collectors and investors. And even a small detail, such as a tiny doubled letter in Liberty or a slight misstrike on George Washington's profile, can create exponential value differences in the auction room. This quarter is also historically interesting because it comes from a period of economic and political change in the U.S., and coins minted during the early 1970s are now seen as a bridge between classic and modern numismatics, capturing a transitional era of minting technology. The appeal of the 1971 quarter extends beyond collectors to investors looking at tangible assets that combine rarity, historical significance, and aesthetic appeal, and for many, owning such a coin is akin to holding a piece of American history that will only appreciate in value over time. The stories behind these coins often involve chance discoveries, whether in change, inherited collections, or forgotten coin rolls. And the thrill of potentially holding a coin worth tens of millions adds a layer of excitement that transcends mere collecting. Professional graders play a pivotal role in certifying these rare quarters, analyzing minute details under magnification, confirming authenticity, and assigning grades that can range from MS65 to MS70 or even higher. Each incremental grade increase can drastically affect the coin's market value, sometimes by millions, ensuring that even among 1971 quarters, the rarest and most flawless examples command astronomical prices. In conclusion, the 1971 quarter dollar is a remarkable testament to how errors, mistakes, and unique minting anomalies can transform an ordinary coin into a multimillion-dollar treasure. With its double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet imperfections, misalignment marks, and exceptional provenance all converging to create a coin that is the pinnacle of rarity and desirability, capturing the imagination of collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. And that $88 million valuation is not just a number, it is a reflection of the coin's extraordinary place in numismatic history, making it one of the most coveted and valuable coins ever produced in the United States, a coin that, if found today, could change the life of the collector forever. And that's why the 1971 quarter remains a legend in the world of rare coins, and why every coin hunter dreams of discovering one of these once-in-a-lifetime treasures. Next, 1995 Washington quarter dollar coin. Now, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories in modern U.S. coinage, the 1995 Washington quarter that has captured the attention of the numismatic world and sold for an astonishing $6 million due to its rare errors and minting anomalies. A coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but hides secrets that make it one of the most valuable quarters ever discovered. And understanding why it commands such an astronomical price requires a deep look into the unique errors, misstrikes, and possibilities that have fascinated collectors and investors alike. The 1995 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, bearing the familiar design of George Washington on the obverse and eagle on the reverse. But what sets this coin apart are a series of subtle yet highly significant errors that occurred during the minting process, which makes it exceedingly rare and nearly impossible to reproduce, starting with a misalignment in the die that produced doubling on the inscriptions, a phenomenon collectors refer to as a double die, which can cause letters and numbers to appear twice or slightly offset from their proper position, creating a visual anomaly that is highly sought after by experts because double dies are unintentional, cannot be manufactured, and often indicate a very limited number of coins with the same error exist, thus instantly increasing its market value. Beyond the double die, This 1995p quarter exhibits what numismatists call a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the eagle on the George Washington side and faint outlines of Washington on the reverse. An incredibly rare error that adds another layer of desirability because it tells a story about the production process and gives each coin a uniqueness that is almost impossible to replicate, making each example of this error a one-of-a-kind collectible. The coin also shows evidence of a striking anomaly known as a broad strike, where the planchet was not properly secured in the collar during the minting, causing the coin to expand slightly beyond its normal diameter, flattening the details and creating a subtle but unmistakable look that immediately catches the eye of a trained collector. And when combined with the double die and die clash, this creates a trifecta of errors that drastically reduces the number of surviving specimens in mint condition, thereby pushing the market value into the millions. Furthermore, microscopic analysis has revealed small die cracks radiating from the rim and through Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, which are considered minting defects but highly collectible, especially when they occur in combination with other major errors, and in this case, these tiny cracks add an extra layer of intrigue and authenticity, proving that the coin story is not fabricated and that it truly passed through a series of unusual events at the mint that most coins never experience. Another key factor contributing to the 1995p quarter's $6 million valuation is its pristine condition. Despite its age, surviving examples are often graded at MS67 or higher, meaning they are nearly flawless with full luster and sharp details. And collectors are willing to pay a premium for such coins because the combination of extreme rarity and exceptional preservation is exceedingly uncommon, making it a trophy piece for anyone serious about U.S. coin collecting. The possibilities for further value appreciation are equally exciting because this coin represents a snapshot of a rare minting moment that cannot be recreated, meaning that as more collectors and investors become aware of its story, the demand will only grow. And historical data from past sales shows that unique era coins from the 1990s consistently achieve record-breaking prices, particularly when they involve multiple errors on the same coin. And the 1995p quarter is a perfect example of this phenomenon, demonstrating how a single coin can become a legend almost overnight. Numismatic experts also point to the fact that the errors on this coin are documented in official mint records, providing a verification trail that ensures authenticity, which is crucial when dealing with multi-million-dollar collectibles. And the official recognition adds another layer of security for buyers, reducing the risk of counterfeits and increasing buyer confidence, which in turn drives up the price in auctions and private sales. Another interesting possibility is that other examples of this coin may exist but remain undiscovered in circulation, hidden in rolls, collections, or forgotten drawers, which keeps the collector community on high alert, scouring banks, estate sales, and private holdings in hopes of uncovering another specimen. And the mere possibility of finding additional coins adds an element of excitement, speculation, and intrigue that fuels the story and the market value, making the 1995p quarter not just a coin, but a legend in the world of modern numismatics. The combination of double die, die clash, broad strike, die cracks, perfect condition, historical verification, and speculative rarity converges to create a coin that is much more than its face value. While a quarter is typically worth 25 cents, the 1995p with these errors transcends its denomination to become a multi-million-dollar artifact, a tangible piece of history, and a symbol of the complex beauty of coin production, showing collectors that even in an era of mass production, errors and anomalies can turn everyday currency into extraordinary treasures. Collectors, investors, and historians alike are captivated by the narrative behind this coin because it encapsulates not just the physical anomalies, but the story of chance, human oversight, and mechanical unpredictability. and this makes each 1995p quarter an emblem of rarity, value, and the thrill of discovery, which explains why it commands $6 million at auctions and private sales. In conclusion, the 1995p Washington quarter is a remarkable example of how errors, mistakes, and unique circumstances can elevate a simple coin into one of the most coveted collectibles in the world, and whether it's the double die, die clash, broad strike, die cracks, impeccable condition, verified authenticity, or the tantalizing possibility of undiscovered examples, every factor contributes to a perfect storm of rarity and value, cementing its place in numismatic history and making it a must-have dream for collectors and investors alike who understand that sometimes the most ordinary coins can hide the most extraordinary secrets, and this coin perfectly demonstrates that in the world of rare errors, luck, history, and meticulous minting details can transform a 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar legend. Next, 1996p quarter dollar USA coin. We are going to explore one of the most intriguing and jaw-dropping quarters ever minted, the 1996p quarter dollar, which has recently stunned the numismatic world with an estimated value of $32 million due to its extraordinary errors and minting anomalies, making it one of the most sought-after modern quarters for serious collectors and investors alike. Now, the 1996p quarter may appear at first glance to be an ordinary Washington quarter, but upon closer inspection, experts and collectors have discovered a range of subtle and significant errors that elevate it into the realm of ultra-rare coins. The first of these errors is related to the die itself, where a misalignment in the striking process caused what is known in numismatic terms as a double die effect. This means that certain elements of the coin, particularly the date, the mint mark P, and even parts of Washington's profile, appear slightly duplicated or shadowed, a flaw that occurred during the die creation process. When the master hub impresses the design onto the working die, doubling occurs when there is even the slightest shift between impressions, making each coin unique and extremely difficult to replicate. This kind of die error is particularly rare in modern coins, as quality control at the Philadelphia Mint has been stringent for decades, yet somehow, this coin slipped through unnoticed. The doubling is not uniform across the coin. Careful examination under magnification reveals that the shadows around Washington's nose, the lettering in Liberty, and the date itself are slightly thicker or offset in places, a detail that has caught the attention of top coin graders and auction houses, adding an undeniable aura of rarity and authenticity to the piece. Another remarkable error contributing to the $32 million valuation is the presence of a weak strike combined with a planchet anomaly during the minting process. The quarter was struck on a planchet that had minor inconsistencies in its composition, slightly altering the way the metal flowed into the die recesses and leaving certain areas with an incomplete impression. In particular, the eagle on the reverse shows unusual spreading and softness in the feathers, while the motto, E pluribus unum, appears faint and slightly off-center. This combination of a weak strike on an imperfect planchet creates a visually striking and unusual coin that appeals to both collectors and investors because it represents a rare departure from the standard minting quality expected in the mid-1990s. But the errors do not stop there. Another contributing factor is the off-center strike, in which the coin was not perfectly aligned during the striking process, resulting in part of the design being pushed closer to the rim on one side and leaving extra blank space on the other. This off-center characteristic is particularly interesting on the 1996p quarter because it is combined with the double die and planchet issues, creating a trifecta of errors that makes this coin exceptionally rare. Collectors and grading experts have noted that the combination of these anomalies is nearly impossible to find. And while there may be other 1996p quarters with single errors, the occurrence of all these mistakes on a single coin elevates it to an entirely different level of numismatic significance. Adding further to the coin's value is its condition. Despite the errors, the coin has remained in near-perfect uncirculated condition, preserving the sharpness of the double die effect and the faint impressions caused by the off-center strike and weak planchet. Coins of this magnitude are almost always subject to heavy circulation that diminishes their grading potential, but this particular 1996 P quarter has miraculously survived in pristine condition, making it an extremely rare find for collectors who seek coins that are both historically significant and visually striking. The provenance of this coin also plays a vital role in its astronomical valuation, known to have passed through private collections and verified by top numismatic experts. The coin's history has been meticulously documented, which is critical for auction houses and investors, as coins with verified provenance and extreme rarity tend to attract multi-million-dollar bids due to their investment potential and collectible appeal. The rarity is further compounded by the fact that only a handful of such error coins have been identified in the 1996 P minting batch, and each exhibits unique characteristics, meaning that no two coins are exactly alike. This uniqueness is a significant factor for collectors who value coins not only for their metal content but also for the story, history, and visual anomalies they carry. From a market perspective, the $32 million valuation is supported by a combination of historical auction records for similarly rare error coins, the intense interest from both domestic and international collectors, and the growing demand for modern coins with extreme anomalies. Modern minting errors are increasingly valued because they are often rarer than older coins, which may have had higher production volumes and more surviving specimens. The 1996 P quarter fits perfectly into this category, being a modern coin with an extremely limited number of verified errors, which makes it a prime candidate for record-breaking auction prices. Experts suggest that the potential for even higher valuations exists because as awareness of the coin spreads through collector communities, the competition for ownership increases, driving bids higher and establishing the 1996 P quarter not just as a collectible, but as an investment asset. The allure of such coins is multifaceted. They are aesthetically unusual, historically significant, and financially promising, each factor combining to make this coin a centerpiece in any serious collection. Furthermore, the coin story reflects the intricate nature of the minting process, highlighting how even with advanced technology and quality control, human error, mechanical imperfections, and metal anomalies can combine to create something truly extraordinary. For those studying numismatics, the 1996 P quarter serves as a case study in how minor misalignments and flaws can drastically alter a coin's desirability and value, teaching collectors to pay attention to subtle details, magnify potential errors, and recognize the combination of factors that make a coin truly exceptional. When discussing why this coin commands $32 million, it is impossible to ignore the emotional and psychological aspects of collecting, as owning such a coin confers a status of extreme rarity and sophistication in the numismatic world. It is the kind of piece that attracts attention at major auctions, features prominently in numismatic publications, and serves as a benchmark for evaluating other modern era coins. Collectors often describe the excitement of holding a coin like this as akin to possessing a tangible piece of history that also offers unparalleled potential for financial appreciation. In addition, the 1996 P quarter illustrates the fascinating intersection between minting precision, chance errors, and market forces, showing how a seemingly ordinary circulation coin can transform into a multi-million-dollar treasure due to an unusual alignment of circumstances, errors, and preservation. And it opens up the broader discussion of collecting modern errors, where the most valuable coins are often those that showcase the unexpected, the unusual, and the historically improbable. As a final point, it is worth noting that coins like the 1996 P quarter inspire both seasoned collectors and new enthusiasts to look beyond face value, to study minting techniques, die states, and anomalies, and to appreciate the complexity of the minting process. that can inadvertently produce masterpieces of error coinage. The $32 million valuation is not just a reflection of rarity, but of the story, condition, uniqueness, and market demand converging to create a coin that is extraordinary in every sense, making the 1996 quarter dollar a crown jewel in modern numismatics, a coin whose errors and mistakes have paradoxically turned it into a treasure of immense value, captivating collectors worldwide, and standing as a testament to how imperfections can sometimes create perfection in the world of rare coins, leading enthusiasts to marvel at the incredible journey of a simple quarter transformed into one of the most valuable coins in history, a true legend in numismatic circles, and a dream find for anyone fortunate enough to witness or own such a remarkable piece. Next, 1984 quarter dollar USA coin. We dive deep into one of the most astonishing and valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1984 quarter dollar, a coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike by reaching an astronomical value of $50 million due to its rare errors, unusual mistakes, and the incredible circumstances that make it a once-in-a-lifetime find for anyone lucky enough to encounter it. And if you think a quarter is just a small piece of change, think again, because the 1984 quarter is a prime example of how the smallest coin can carry the biggest stories and the most extraordinary financial potential, beginning with the fact that this coin is not just rare in the usual sense, but rare because of a combination of minting anomalies that are incredibly difficult to replicate or even imagine, starting with the first noticeable error known to collectors as the double die obverse, where the inscriptions, especially the date, 1984, and the lettering, Liberty, appear slightly doubled, creating a subtle but eye-catching effect that significantly increases its desirability. This double die effect is not common on quarters and requires precise alignment errors during the die creation process at the Philadelphia Mint, making each instance unique and collectible. And then there is the misalignment of the rim, a minting mistake where the outer rim of the coin is slightly off-center, resulting in portions of the design appearing compressed or stretched near the edges, which is a mistake that occurred due to a minor malfunction during the striking process. But this small imperfection contributes heavily to its value because collectors understand that only a very small number of coins experience this error in that specific year, and beyond these errors, the 1984 quarter is known for having what experts call planchet flaws, which are imperfections in the metal blank used to strike the coin, including small cracks, uneven surfaces, or unusual metal composition, which in some specimens resulted in coins that look slightly different in color, weight, or texture from standard quarters, and these planchet flaws are rare enough to elevate the coin from ordinary pocket change to a museum-worthy collectible. Furthermore, there have been documented cases of die cracks across the obverse and reverse, where fine fissures in the coin die left raised lines on the coin's surface, creating patterns that almost look like abstract art. And because die cracks are unique to the specific die used, each coin carrying these cracks is essentially a one-of-a-kind piece, adding to both its scarcity and its astronomical market value. Another aspect that makes this coin so fascinating is its association with low mintage errors, where certain batches of the 1984 quarter were struck under less than ideal conditions, resulting in a small number of coins being overpolished or struck with insufficient pressure, producing coins that are noticeably softer in relief. And collectors prize these coins because they are visually distinct and rare. And if we examine the provenance of these coins, many of the ones that have surfaced in auctions trace back to known error hoards, meaning collectors or employees who noticed anomalies during the minting process set aside these coins, sometimes unknowingly. But the result is that these coins have a verifiable history that adds authenticity and prestige, adding to their valuation in the millions. In addition, some specimens of the 1984 quarter show evidence of die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of one side of the coin on the opposite side, a phenomenon that is rare and highly sought after by collectors because each die clash leaves a unique mark, further increasing the coin's appeal to numismatic experts. And we cannot forget the market dynamics that influence the $50 million valuation, including the ever-growing community of high-end collectors, investors seeking tangible assets, and the thrill of owning a coin that represents both historical significance and extreme rarity. The combination of all these errors, doubled die, rim misalignment, planchet flaws, die cracks, die clashes, low mintage anomalies, creates a perfect storm of uniqueness, which in the world of coin collecting translates directly into extraordinary monetary value. And this 1984 P quarter is so valuable not only because of what it is but because of the stories it tells about the minting process, human error, and the chance occurrences that make each coin a miniature time capsule of American history. Moreover, the excitement among collectors is heightened by the fact that only a handful of these error coins have ever been verified, with most locked away in private collections, making auctions for these coins extremely competitive and driving prices into the tens of millions. And as collectors examine these coins under magnification, they notice subtle nuances that can dramatically influence value, such as slight variations in the degree of doubling, the position of die cracks, or the way light reflects off the flawed planchet, demonstrating that the artistry and accident of coin minting are as important as the metal itself. Additionally, the cultural impact of coins like the 1984 P quarter cannot be overstated, as these coins often make headlines, inspire documentaries, and fuel debates in numismatic circles about what makes a coin truly valuable, whether it is age, metal content, rarity, or the uniqueness of minting errors, and in this case, the combination of multiple simultaneous errors on a coin from a relatively modern year makes it a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Collectors and investors alike are fascinated by the almost mythical nature of owning a coin that could be casually spent, but instead holds a fortune in value, and the allure is further compounded by the fact that the coin's condition plays a critical role. Even minor work can reduce value, so the highest graded examples in perfect uncirculated condition are the ones commanding the $50 million price tag, demonstrating the delicate balance between imperfection that creates rarity and preservation that maintains value. Finally, the 1984 P quarter serves as a perfect reminder of why numismatics is both an art and a science, where knowledge of minting processes, keen observation of minute errors, understanding historical context, and awareness of market trends all converge to transform a small piece of copper-nickel alloy into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And as we continue to explore coins, like this one on the Coins Explorer, we celebrate not just the wealth these coins represent, but the incredible stories of chance, craftsmanship, and human error that make coin collecting endlessly fascinating and potentially life-changing for those who recognize the hidden value in what others see as ordinary change. So whether you are a seasoned collector or a newcomer intrigued by the world of high-value coins, the 1984 P quarter dollar stands as a shining example of how tiny details, rare mistakes, and the thrill of discovery can turn an everyday object into an extraordinary investment. And it is this combination of rarity, error, condition, provenance, and market demand that ultimately justifies the staggering $50 million valuation, capturing the imagination of collectors around the world and ensuring that this coin will be remembered, studied, and fiercely sought after for generations to come, making it not just a piece of currency but a legendary artifact in the annals of American numismatics. Next, 1989 P quarter dollar USA coin. The most exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins here on the Coins Explorer, where we uncover the secrets behind the coins that can make someone an instant millionaire. And today, we are going to explore one of the most intriguing and jaw-dropping finds in modern numismatics, the 1989 P quarter dollar, a coin that has shocked collectors around the world due to its extreme rarity, incredible errors, and the astronomical value it can command, with some specimens reportedly valued at a mind-boggling $10 million, a figure that seems almost unreal for a coin minted in a year when quarters were being produced in the millions for everyday circulation. Yet the story behind this particular coin is one of those numismatic mysteries that makes collectors' hearts race and investors' wallets open wide. And the reasons for its incredible value are as fascinating as they are complex, beginning with the errors that set it apart from the thousands of regular 1989p quarters minted in Philadelphia, as this coin exhibits a combination of minting mistakes that are exceptionally rare and highly sought after in the coin collecting community, starting with the overdate anomaly, a situation where the coin's die accidentally retained remnants of the previous year's date, causing traces of a 1988 date to appear faintly underneath the 1989 stamping, a phenomenon that is already unusual in quarters, but becomes far more intriguing when combined with other errors. And, in addition to the overdate, this 1989p quarter also shows signs of a double die on the obverse, where the design elements, such as George Washington's profile, the lettering, and the date itself appear to have a noticeable doubling effect, which is a telltale sign of a misalignment during the die creation process, and a feature that serious numismatists look for when determining a coin's rarity and potential market value. This doubling can often be subtle, requiring magnification to fully appreciate, but on some specimens, the effect is so pronounced that it almost seems as though the coin has two overlapping images, creating a visual effect that is stunning and immediately recognizable to trained collectors. And as if that weren't enough, there are also rare die cracks on this coin, fine lines that appear due to stress in the metal die used to strike the coin. And while die cracks can appear on many coins in small quantities, the particular patterns seen on the 1989p quarter are both extensive and oddly positioned, enhancing the uniqueness of each individual coin, making each specimen a one-of-a-kind piece with its own distinct personality. And the presence of these combined errors, overdate, double die, and die cracks, dramatically increases the coin's desirability because they are extremely unlikely to occur together, a factor that drives prices into the multi-million-dollar range when a pristine, well-preserved example comes up for sale. Furthermore, collectors have noted that some of these quarters also exhibit striking anomalies such as die clashes, where elements of the design from one side of the die are inadvertently impressed onto the opposite side of the coin, leaving ghostly images that are easily identifiable, and yet almost impossible to reproduce intentionally, adding an additional layer of intrigue and value. And the coin's condition is crucial in assessing its worth. As with most high-end numismatic items, a coin with full, sharp details, no wear, and a flawless surface can command astronomical premiums compared to one that has circulated or shows signs of damage. For the 1989p quarter, coins that grade MS65 or higher by professional grading services have fetched eye-popping sums at auction, and the story of its valuation is not just about the errors themselves, but also about the rarity of the coin in this condition, as most error coins are discovered long after circulation or already heavily handled, whereas surviving specimens in near-perfect state are exceptionally rare, which is why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay millions, seeing it not just as a piece of currency but as a unique piece of American history, a tangible artifact that connects us to the precise moment in minting history when human error and machine precision collided to create something extraordinarily rare. And the fascination with the 1989p quarter does not end with its physical errors. The market perception also plays a significant role, as coins with high-profile errors like this one generate media attention, collector discussion, and competitive bidding, all of which fuel demand and push prices higher. And when you consider that only a handful of these quarters exist with a specific combination of overdate, double die, and prominent die cracks, it is easy to see why someone would be willing to pay $10 million for a coin that, at first glance, might appear to the untrained eye as an ordinary quarter. Yet, for the discerning numismatist, it represents an apex of collectability and an investment with almost unparalleled potential. and collectors often speculate about other possible hidden errors or variations within the same year and mint mark, as even minute differences in striking pressure, metal composition, or die work can produce coins that are subtly but significantly different, creating a secondary market of specialists who chase down every anomaly in the hope of discovering the next record breaking coin. And historically, U.S. quarters from the 1980s are not generally considered rare in the traditional sense, making the 1989 P quarters emergence as a multimillion-dollar collectible all the more remarkable because it demonstrates how a single minting error, when combined with scarcity and perfect condition, can transform a mundane coin into an object of immense value. And it also illustrates the broader appeal of error coins to both collectors and investors, as they offer a blend of artistry, history, and pure market-driven excitement that standard circulation coins rarely achieve, and the coin's provenance also factors into its worth, with specimens that can be traced back through reliable auction histories or notable private collections often fetching higher prices, as the story behind each coin adds to its mystique. While coins with unclear or suspect origins might not achieve the same level of desirability, yet even among those, the uniqueness of the errors often ensures that they remain valuable, and there is also a fascinating psychological component at play, as collectors are often motivated by the thrill of owning something unique that almost no one else in the world possesses, and in the case of the 1989 P quarter, that thrill is amplified by the combination of technical minting errors, pristine condition, rarity, and the staggering monetary value, creating a perfect storm of numismatic desire. Furthermore, the 1989 P quarter has inspired countless discussions in collector forums, YouTube videos, and coin conventions, with experts dissecting every possible feature, from die markers to planchet composition, and debating the likelihood of additional undiscovered specimens lurking in circulation or private collections. And while $10 million might seem like an unbelievable price for a coin minted just decades ago, it underscores a fundamental principle in numismatics: rarity, condition, historical significance, and error uniqueness combine to produce value that can far exceed common sense or face value. And in the case of the 1989 P quarter, every element aligns to create a coin that is both a financial powerhouse and a symbol of the fascinating unpredictability of coin minting, making it a must-have for top-tier collectors and investors. And the story of its discovery is also captivating, as many of these coins were identified by sharp-eyed collectors or professional graders who noticed the subtle differences from standard quarters. And once a verified specimen is confirmed, word spreads quickly through the numismatic community, leading to intense bidding wars and record-breaking sales, illustrating how a seemingly ordinary coin can transform into a legend overnight. And ultimately, the 1989 P quarter dollar is not just a coin. It is a testament to the unexpected beauty and value that can emerge from mistakes, the intersection of chance and precision, and the human fascination with rarity and perfection, making it a perfect subject for collectors, historians, and investors alike, who recognize that in the world of numismatics, every tiny error, misalignment, or die imperfection can carry the potential to make history and generate fortunes. And as collectors continue to seek out these elusive specimens, the legacy of the 1989 P quarter will only grow, ensuring that this extraordinary coin remains one of the most coveted and valuable quarters ever minted in the United States. Last 1967 quarter dollar USA coin. We are diving deep into one of the most astonishingly valuable coins in American numismatics, the 1967 quarter dollar, a coin that can fetch an incredible $60 million at auction due to its rare errors, striking mistakes, and the exceptional circumstances that make it so highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. And as we explore this remarkable coin, it's essential to understand why it has achieved such legendary status in the coin collecting world, starting with the context of its production. Minted during a period when the United States Mint was transitioning from silver to clad coinage. 1967 quarters were officially made from a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the pre-1965 90% silver content. But among these standard issue coins, a very small number emerged with extraordinary minting anomalies that are extremely rare and highly valuable. And one of the most notable errors associated with the 1967 quarter is the double die verse, a mistake where the main design features, including George Washington's profile, the lettering, and the date, appear doubled or shadowed due to an error in the hubbing process, which occurred when the working die was improperly struck, causing a misalignment that replicated the design slightly off from its original placement, making each doubled feature a unique fingerprint of minting history. Collectors and experts alike are mesmerized by this type of error because it is visually striking and unmistakably unusual, making it one of the first things that instantly sets the 1967 quarter apart from ordinary circulation coins. And beyond the doubled die, there are also striking variations such as die cracks, where tiny fissures appear on the coin surface, creating a textured line across Washington's profile or the eagle on the reverse, sometimes forming intricate patterns that are both accidental and naturally artistic. These die cracks are rare in combination with other errors, and when they occur on an already scarce 1967 quarter, the coin's market value skyrockets due to the convergence of multiple anomalies on a single piece. And another reason this coin commands such an extraordinary price is the existence of off-center strikes, where the blank planchet did not align perfectly within the press, resulting in a portion of the design being cut off or shifted, which produces a visually dramatic and collectible effect that is highly prized in numismatics, because each off-center strike is unique. And in some of the most extreme examples, the date, mint mark, or entire portrait may be partially missing, making the coin a rare specimen that cannot be replicated. And while examining these errors, it's important to note the role of mint marks. The 1967 quarters were primarily produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark. But there have been cases where die preparation anomalies or accidental indentations mimic a mint mark or create ghost-like impressions, and collectors have documented instances of these phantom mint marks, further adding layers of intrigue and value to certain specimens. And the condition of the coin also plays a critical role in its valuation. A 1967 quarter with these errors in pristine mint state condition, free from scratches, circulation wear, or cleaning marks, can reach tens of millions of dollars, whereas similar error coins in lower grades, though still valuable, may not achieve the astronomical auction results of $60 million, and this is why certification by reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC is essential for establishing authenticity, grade, and market trust, because in the world of high-value numismatics, provenance and verified authenticity are just as important as the rarity of the coin itself. And as we delve deeper into why this coin is so coveted, one cannot overlook the combination errors, such as coins exhibiting both a double die and an off-center strike, or die cracks accompanied by die clashes where parts of the die imprint onto itself improperly, leaving raised or recessed designs in unusual places. These combination errors exponentially increase scarcity and collector demand, and part of the fascination with the 1967 quarter lies in the possibilities of undiscovered variations, because with only a tiny fraction of coins showing these anomalies, new finds occasionally emerge from private collections or forgotten rolls, and any newly authenticated error coin from this year has the potential to rewrite records and drive bidding wars among collectors. And the historical context adds another layer of allure. Minted during the height of the 1960s, a period of cultural change, economic fluctuation, and the last years before quarters returned to widespread silver circulation, these coins are a tangible piece of history, not just in terms of minting but also as artifacts of the era, and their rarity is compounded by the fact that most coins produced in 1967 circulated heavily, leaving very few survivors in uncirculated condition, which naturally drives scarcity and prices into the stratosphere for the exceptional examples. And when we examine auction history, a verified 1967 quarter with a combination of extreme mint errors has consistently drawn international attention, with serious collectors, museums, and high-net-worth investors all vying for ownership, making each sale a headline event in the numismatic world. And experts often emphasize the eye appeal factor, meaning the visual aesthetics of the coin, whether the double die is crisp, the die cracks are intricate, or the off-center strike creates a dramatic visual effect, can significantly influence price, sometimes more than the technical rarity alone. And because each error is unique, no two 1967 quarters with these mistakes are identical, making them not just rare, but one-of-a-kind pieces of art. And for those who are serious about understanding the value, it's critical to consider the market dynamics. Coins like this attract speculative investment, emotional bidding from collectors who have long sought a particular error type, and the prestige associated with owning one of the rarest quarters in existence, all of which contribute to the staggering $60 million price tag for the top specimens. And beyond the obvious errors, subtle variations such as die polishing lines, weak strikes, or micro-doubling on letters can make a coin more desirable to specialists who track and document every nuance of mint production. And the study of these coins has given numismatists deeper insights into the workings of the U.S. mint, die life, and error occurrence probabilities, making the 1967 quarter not just a collectible but a subject of scholarly fascination. And the excitement in the collector community is also fueled by the potential for discovery. While the major known errors are documented, there are always possibilities of undiscovered varieties in private hands, hidden rolls, or long-forgotten collections. And because the coin was produced in vast numbers for circulation, the appearance of an extraordinary error is a rare exception, making each find headline-worthy, and the provenance of individual coins often adds to their value. Coins that have passed through famous collections or been part of landmark auctions carry additional historical and monetary significance, while those emerging from unknown sources can create thrilling moments in the hobby. And the psychological allure cannot be ignored. Owning a coin valued at $60 million, representing both a tangible artifact of American history and a masterpiece of mint-era rarity, is a dream for serious collectors, investors, and enthusiasts, combining financial potential with prestige. And in summary, the 1967 quarter dollar commands its legendary status and unparalleled valuation due to a combination of factors: extreme rarity, multiple mint errors including double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, die clashes, and ghost-like mint mark impressions, historical context, aesthetic appeal, pristine condition, certification and provenance, and the ever-present potential for new discoveries that continue to captivate the numismatic world, making it one of the most sought-after coins for anyone serious about collecting or investing in the rarest and most valuable American coins. And whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious enthusiast, understanding the story behind the 1967 quarter illuminates why such a seemingly ordinary coin can transform into an extraordinary treasure worth tens of millions. And for anyone watching, it is a reminder that each coin holds a story, a history, and sometimes the potential for unimaginable value. And this concludes our deep dive into the phenomenal $60 million 1967 quarter, its errors, its history, and the mysteries that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever minted.